How do you create the next big thing? Ask yourself, what does the next big thing look like to you, and then work to get it to that direction. So many times when we focus on doing something, we focus on it at the local level. We think about, this is what I want to do, whether it's a program, whether it be an event, whether it be a product, and we focus on what it can do right now. The persons who are thinking about what the next big thing is asking themselves, what could be next with this event? What could be next with the next product that you're doing? So when you're doing so, you don't look at this thing as something that only stops right before you. You look at the applications for it in the future. For instance, if you have an event that you're trying to plan, if the goal eventually is to have it televised or live streamed, if the plan is eventually to have multiple events in multiple locations doing the same thing, and this is the blueprint, when your mind looks at it like, okay, this is all the big things that I want for it to do in the future, then you start working on fine-tuning the little things in the present with the idea that it feeds into the next big thing later. Too many times people have a local mentality on something, and then once it does well, they think maybe it can go big. Instead of having the maybe it could be big in the future, how about you start thinking about it can be big in the future. So what do I need to do to put those things into place so that it can be big then? Why is that important to you? Because at some particular point, if you're successful with it locally, someone's going to ask you the question, have you thought about doing something to expand the reach of what it is you're doing, whether it be an event or a product? And because you have already thought about what the long-term, large-scale application of whatever you're doing is, you can anticipate, oh, well, this was what the plan is for this. This is what the plan is for this. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to put together an all-world order program right out of the gate. What I'm telling you is that when you're working on an event or a project or a product, that you look at this thing and envision it from the standpoint of, if I can take this thing and make it larger in the future, what other things needs to happen? More importantly, go up with it like this. Say to yourself, if the best case scenario were to be the case, and this thing would be the way you want it to be on a large scale, what would it look like to you? Well, guess what? You can envision what it looks like, and because you can envision what it looks like, you can envision the pathways that it takes you to get to that point. And more importantly, you can envision all the little things that you need to know along the way, and all the things you don't know that you can start researching and getting yourself up to speed on, so this way you can connect those things accordingly. If you know you want to be national, you can start thinking about those national relationships. If you want to be international, you can start thinking about those international relationships. Looking at those things from a global standpoint, as opposed to just a local or a county or a country or even your continent standpoint, and say to yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is my project. I believe that it can be extended on a larger scale. Once you have that larger scale picture in your head, then the local planning becomes much easier, because you know this is something that'll build on for the future.